Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic and it's time for another collection video, and I thought it was quite appropriate to do another part in my Fantastic Four back issue kind of look over, given that the new series of Fantastic Four came out this week. So we're up to the 90s. 90s were a bit strange for the Fantastic Four because before the 90s ran out, this particular volume of Fantastic Four finished, and then they started doing a lot of strange kind of reimaginings and restarts and reboots, and then some retcons along the way. So this one is kind of short. It's kind of only half of the end of this series before I start showing you all the kind of what happened after Volume 1 kind of ended. And to be honest, not a lot kind of trivia wise, kind of first appearances and all that kind of stuff happen, so there won't really be much of me talking, but please do enjoy all the lovely covers, and I hope you are still enjoying this. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below with any of your Fantastic Four stories. If you're collecting this series, how are you getting on with it? I'm sure some of you have got some glorious collections. I've seen a few of them already and I'm very envious. But I hope you enjoy this video. Let's crack on. So, as I said in the introduction, the 90s, not a lot was going on kind of trivia wise or potentially kind of like first appearances and all that kind of stuff, so there'll be likely not to be much of me talking, and you could just look at some great covers. But the 90s, we're starting with issue 337. We have Walt Simonson doing the writing, the penciling and the inking. In this issue, you can see there on the time sled a Rosebud 2. This is its first appearance. Obviously Rosebud being a an analogy, not an analogy, I guess a kind of homage to the Citizen Kane film. But this is all the time stream nonsense that goes on throughout the 90s. Issue 338, we get a bunch of Kangs knocking around from different times. Issue 339, the Gladiator's first appearance, and he's battling Thor. And as it says here, hey, whose book is this anyway? Yes, it's meant to be the Fantastic Four. Where are they? Well, they're just down here, still flying around on their time sled. For those of you who don't know, Gladiator was kind of like the Shia Empire's kind of big, I guess, security army, head of army guy, like a big general. And we have an appearance of a black celestial here. Issue 340, continuing on with all this time stream shenanigans that's going on. Here in issue 341, not that you'd know it, despite the fact that it says this is the biggest one. Galactus and the Black Celestial both die. Now that's not kind of a big spoiler because these are actually future versions of them. Issue 342, we have the writer Danny Fingeroth, and Rex Valve on art now. We're kind of picking it up from all Walt's crazy dimension and multiverse gubbin stuff. Poor guys that have to pick up with this. But we've got X Factor appearances from Rusty Collins, and of course, you know, back in the 90s, let's throw Spider-Man into anything we possibly can. Issue 343, we get guest appearances by, of all people, Joseph Stalin and Dan Quayle. Walt Simonson picks up the story once again. Issue 344, appearance by Mikhail Gorbachev. The colorist we've got here, Steve Buccellato, I'm sorry. His credit here is El Bucce. I'm not quite sure why that was. Issue 345, as said, more time nonsense, which means they go back to prehistoric times and there's dinosaurs. And with issue 346, there's more dinosaurs as they try and battle for their lives on the island that time forgot. Issue 347, and we're starting to see the appearance of some new Fantastic Four members, and you'll see this better in upcoming covers, but the Skrulls are back in this issue, and this is kind of the first appearance of a new, and I use that in inverted commas, FF, and so we've got Spider-Man down there, we've got Wolverine, we've got Ghost Rider, and we've got the Incredible Hulk, and we can see them better in action in issue 348 as the team take on. And I love, they always kind of say the world's greatest comic magazine, usually at the top, or some variation. This time we've got the world's most commercialist comic magazine. I love those little headings that they have, and obviously, you know, you throw Spider-Man on, you throw Wolverine on, you're going to get a lot of people wanting to buy it. And great artwork by Arthur Adams on this. I really like Art Adams' artwork. Great stuff from him. On to issue 349, and as you can see just in the corner, you don't need to show his face, you just need to show that chest, and you know the Punisher is going to be in there somewhere. Issue 350, and yes, we've got our favourite Marvel villain back. It's Doctor Doom. Issue 351. Now we've got Len Kaminsky doing the writing and Mark Bagley doing some of his early work here. Mark Bagley you probably know best for his run with Brian Michael Bendis on Ultimate Spider-Man, amongst many, many other things, obviously. Issue 352, nothing really much to say about that, apart from a rather explosive looking Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards there, and you probably won't see this very well, and I think I've just probably cut the top. Let's just move this slightly up. There we go, that's better. And I don't think you can still do it because the writing's so, it's not a very good colour at the top, but it now says the world's most confusing comic magazine, and I can attest to that. Unfortunately, a couple of issues missed out there that I'm looking for, but we jump to 354 and we have the Cross Time Express. I don't know if this came out of, what else was this, Excalibur. They had a Cross Time Express storyline, did they not? I'll have to look. I should have done my research better, but maybe that's part of that. But we have the Ms. Marvel, who had been kind of taking the place, I guess, of the Thing for a while. She decides to leave the team in this issue. Issue 355. Love these covers that just show a kind of glimpse, or in this case an arm, a hand with a crowbar, and you automatically know who this is. And of course it's the Wrecker coming in as one of Fantastic Four's foes to cause, obviously, Ben Grimm a bit of hurt. Issue 356, and we've got the New Warriors playing around here with Puppet Master involved in there. A little bit of Tom DeFalco doing the writing. He starts his run here. Issue 357. This is I guess, a big issue, because we finally find out, or everyone basically finds out now, the reveal that the current Alicia Masters, which Human Torch has gone and married, is in fact the Skrull Elijah. And that's been the worst kept secret, I think, for many, many issues, but it's all out in the open now. 358, and we've got a triple-sized 30th anniversary spectacular. Great stuff there. Issue 359, first appearance of Devos the Devastator. Another baddie that doesn't really last very long, and is, I don't think we see him very much ever again, but pitted against our Fantastic Four. Issue 360, a little bit of a Christmassy tale with the Miracle on Yancey Street. So we've got a bit of Doctor Doom in there. We've got the Yancey Street gang probably causing Ben Grimm no amount of trouble, as they usually do. Issue 362, first appearance of this character down here, Wildblood, and obviously another cameo from Spider-Man as he battles the Human Torch above the city. Issue 363, and we have Oculus, the Unforgiving. Basically, Oculus is an alien from the Iniverse, I-N-N-I-V-E-R-S-E. There are so many verses in the Fantastic Four, but this is the Iniverse. Basically, it's a universe that exists parallel to Earth. And obviously, Oculus here, he's found a way into ours. Continuing on with the Oculus, now he's omnipotent storyline there. Issue 365, and of course it's time for Oculus to be defeated, but he does come back in about, I don't know, 40 issues or so. We'll obviously see him, and I'll mention him when we get to that. 366, and this is the start of the Infinity War crossover, and this is where all the kind of doppelgangers of our Fantastic Four turn up, and you'll see them pretty much on every cover. So this cover's turn was Reed Richards. With this one, we have a first appearance of a character really not important, to be honest, but of Bridget O'Neill. She was a student at the same university that Johnny Storm went to, and of course that leads up to a devastating storyline for Johnny Storm to come. Issue 367. Now it's time for The Thing to have his doppelganger, and the Infinity War crossover continues. This is kind of chock full of guest appearances right through this Infinity War crossover. So you'll see the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers, you've got the X-Men, New Warriors, you'll even see sights of members of X-Factor and Alpha Flight. Issue 368, it's now the turn of the Human Torch to have his doppelganger come after him, along with a whole heap more doppelgangers that you can ganger your doppel at, as we see variations of Iron Man, Thanos, Mr. Fantastic, Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, Colossus, basically the X-Men team. Issue 369, and the only character that really doesn't get her own doppelganger, but her kind of evil inner persona comes out once again in the guise of Malice. We haven't seen Malice since issue 281, but I think it's a great character, and it's kind of a great look at the dark side of Sue, the Invisible Woman. 370, the final issue of this Infinity War crossover, and basically we get a chance to destroy and kill, and all the doppelgangers die. And finally, and I don't know whether this will really show up, you might just see a slight embossing on it. If I just bring it forward just a little bit, there is a reason for this. If you can just about tell on that, it is Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four, Human Torch. His powers, he has to use them. I can't remember who to take down. I think it was some scrolls, and it was all mixed in with his kind of wife, Elijah. But he goes kind of like supernova, so it's white hot. This is what this cover is, it's white hot. And he causes all kind of untold damage to the university that he's been studying at, which is why we had that first appearance from Bridget not so long ago to feed into this story. So that's kind of like the first part of the 90s that I'm going to show you. As I said, the 90s were a bit of a weird time for the Fantastic Four. The series kind of ends, and they all start doing some weird stuff with the numberings and different versions of them, which I will be showing you very soon. Hope you enjoyed that first half of the Fantastic Four 90s, and you'll tune in for more as and when I remember to make them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.